So, let's go over Fang. Like, first of all, I'll talk about how the general adjustments have affected him. I'll post the patch notes in the chat if anyone wants to follow along. How do I feel about Fang's V-Shift? How do I feel V-Shift affects Fang? My honest answer? It's too early to tell. It's literally too early to tell. I'm not going to go around giving tier placements or anything like that because it's too fucking early to tell. Even characters that lost big, that look like they've lost big on the patch, like Guile and Dawson, and Akuma, it's still, I'd still say the jury's out. So I'm not gonna give you my impression of V-Shift just yet because it's not even been a day. Now, the anti-air changes. Many jumping attacks have hurt boxes positioned lower than their hitboxes. Grounded attacks have high hitboxes, meaning that they have anti-air properties against jumping attacks even if they land from the front or the side. Light attacks with their quick motions and some characters' crouching medium punches prove to be effective anti-airs with their quick startup and plus on-block properties. This makes dealing with certain characters a problem. They're mainly talking about Guile and Bison, but their G is also a gold threat, affecting game balance in ways not originally intended. So what they've done to combat this is they've made the hurt boxes at the lower half of all jumping attacks invincible to grounded light attacks whilst the character is descending from after the jump. So as you're coming down from a jump, you are invulnerable to light. If you press a jumping button, you're invulnerable to lights. We added another hurt box for some characters crouching medium punches from one frame before the active frames to the end of the active frames. This is to stop people getting around that by using the dodgy crouching medium punches to anti-air instead. And the other half of the hitboxes for some characters crouching medium punches will no longer hit airborne opponents. I'm going to assume, I'm trying to think who that's for. I think that's mainly an anti-Ryu thing because some Ryus like to anti-air with crouching medium punch. Now, I don't really think that's affected Fang too much. Like, his jab anti-air was okay at one point. I actually used one earlier today during the stream. I definitely should not have. I'm still going to use the very heavily delayed jab versus what jump ins I suspect to be empty, because that's an option. I can option select that because if they just do a deep jumping button, my input gets eaten by blocks from anyway. So I'll still use that to option select anti jumps, but apart from that, anti-air jabs are dead. Anti-air light punches of any sort are dead. Special counterable states from some anti-airs. Characters who have moves or wall jumps that can change their mid-air trajectory will now enter a special counterable state between the start of the motion and when they land whilst performing certain moves. Landing a mid-air attack that causes air recovery, except for normal light attacks against an opponent in this state, will cause a knockdown, from which holds can be performed. Additionally, when the counterable state is active, increased hit stop and a heavy attack-like hit effect will make it easy to know when a character is in this state. The counterable state will last until you land, but even if you perform another move from a move that causes you to enter the state, say if you perform a jumping attack during a wall jump, you'll still be counterable until you land. For more information on which moves cause the state, please see each character's adjustment list. This does affect Fang. What does that look like? That affects his air trajectory. Chicken Man. In place and back recovery. The following adjustments were made to make it easy to distinguish in-place recovery from back recovery. Back recovery now produces the smoke effect immediately after the motion starts, and in-place recovery and back recovery now use different voice samples. That's pretty bad. I'm actually loving the second one. And initial combo scaling of throws. Starting combo with throw will now apply one move's worth of scaling to the combo. This will also apply to some characters' command throws and throws that cause stun. Scaling for throws used in the middle of combos has not been changed. So what this means is, if I throw loop you, you now take less damage if I stun you from like a throw loop. And if G command grabs you, you take a little less damage. I don't think that nerfs too. I don't think like it will come up. Like the effects of that nerf will come up in quite a lot of competitive play, but I don't feel like it's a welcome change. I'd say. And yeah, but actually that's a good point. And Bison could also use crouching medium punch. I back rise a ton too, but I back rise a ton because against certain characters because I know I don't want to fucking deal with their quick rise Oki. I just don't want to fucking deal with that shit. Right. So, balance change overview. Fang's adjustments focus on his combos, increasing the amount of damage he can dish out at once. I think I agree with that. Fang's stand heavy kick would sometimes put him at a disadvantage when landing a hit in the air. By changing the effect on mid-air hit, we've given him a chance to continue his offensive. Additionally, in certain situations, it can now be used in mid-air combos. Nishidoku, aka Disco 1, can now be easily worked into combos during Satoja or V-Trigger 1, increasing combo variation and making it possible to apply both damage and poison even when follow-ups require a critical art gauge. Narenko is a great tool for controlling opponents from a distance, but leaves Fang more open to counter-attack if it whiffs or interrupted. It is now easier to confirm the hit and follow-up with big damage when critical art or V-Trigger are available. I feel like they've been pretty true to this. Now, showing off this first change is going to be a bit weird. You see that? You see that? Do you see that? Now compare it to this. It's one more damage. But it's also plus 10. It's way more plus, so you get way better advantage off the stand heavy kick hitting airborne than you would from the cover crunch. And also you're placed closer, and also they get air reset. Look at that. That's pretty nice. The benefits of that, like there are benefits to that combo. To that inclusion, like from that situation, it's one more damage, right? But they land grounded. Yeah, they can V-shift out, but I can still shimmy. I can still throw. I can still fucking. I'm plus 10, so I can press stand roundhouse and counter hit a free frame. And even if I think you're gonna V-shift, I can just fucking cower crouch and catch it. I have a lot of options off that. Let me. There is another thing I want to try. There's that, but what if I do this? There we go. Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There we go. That's one advantage. That's a thing that's possible. I probably won't be going for that very often, but it's a thing you can do. We're going to go into Nirenko. He extended the special cancel window by 5 frames. The idea is to make the cancels off it easier, because you're going to a down forward motion. Right, this changes. Basically, it's easy. It's meant to be easier to special cancel it, but the actual charge position from it is really fucking weird. So you can cancel from it easier, and you can also do this now. You couldn't do that before. Before you could do this, But you can now do this. Extended forward the box that triggers the opponent's block. So it triggers proximity guard a little bit further from a little bit further away, and if you block the second attack, it increases the punch back. Let me just make your block here. Go. They also altered how long that it actually blocks them for. They actually have to block a little longer. All in all, Nikyoshu, aka the Fly. As I mentioned earlier, this is one of the attacks that's covered by the grounded state rule, by the new jump arc alteration rules. So if you get hit out of Fly or an attack from Fly, you don't air reset anymore. You get knocked down. And now, how do I feel about that? I'm not really bothered. I'm genuinely not that bothered at all. So it's not a hit on deck. Now, Satoja, normal V-Trigger 1. Increase the combo count limit. Actually, let me take Ryu off. Don't take Furin off guarding. Before, only one hit of that would hit, and only if you did medium or light Satoja. Now, I can anti-air someone, and if I've got charge, we have... There are applications for this. So now, if I have Vita, you do a stupid jumping, I can actually hurt you. As opposed to just... And I get... Also now, I now get a proper knockdown from Crouch Fierce, and I get Okisemi. So, even less reasons to jump a Fang. V-Trigger 1. Now, they have buffed how V-Trigger 1 works. So now, normally when you have V-Trigger 1, your V-Skill 1 is this little ball poison stuff, but it doesn't do anything else. It doesn't have any hits done or anything. But before, in V-Trigger 1, it gained a hitbox. It did damage. It does damage. Not only have they given it an extra hit, making it very useful in Fireball Wars, they've doubled its damage. It now does 60 from 30. Each hit does 30 damage. This is pretty good. That's a pretty big buff. So, what does this mean? It means that it's probably the V-Trigger 1 still runs out quite fast, so you're not going to get much time to play around with it. But it means in certain matchups where personally matchups for me where I'm looking to V-reversal a lot or utilize V-shift a lot, I will be basically peppering them with V-skills in order to make sure I basically have infinite V-gauge. But sometimes you are going to want to activate. It's just more utility. It just has more utility because of this. Like, you can also play in certain Fireball matchups. I'm actually looking for, I might actually try this into Gil. I might try this into Manat. I'm probably not going to try this into Ryu because I don't want to fucking do that with Ryu right now. I might do it with Sagat. I may just do it with Sagat. Oh yeah, the other buff. There we go. You can combo off it now. +4 on hit, point blank. I'm trying to figure out what the actual applications for comboing, for like doing comboing into it are. I still haven't figured those out yet, but And obviously I can cancel that into super as well. But mainly, the main use will be Fireball Wars. And the last buff, well I say last buff, the last change is the Vaulted Super. I did it wrong. There we go. Second time lucky. Because sometimes if the super hits kind of late, what will happen is the last ball will hit the ground and bounce before the other character does. Before, the only time you could utilize this in a combo is if you'd V-trigger cancelled earlier. This was actually a day one desk combo. Wherein he BTC'd so the combo had a free juggle state. He went like it cloud, point blank into super, which wasn't really meant to work at the time, but because of the free juggle state, it would work on some characters. And then he would combo that into one hit of crouching heavy punch. Now you get that combo, it works properly, and if you take it to the corner, you get heavy sleeves and the Okazemi associated with heavy sleeves, which is pretty good in my opinion. So my overall opinion of Fang, like I said, I'm not going to give any tier placements because this shit's too early to tell. It's still day 0, but I like what they've done. I understand that. I understand. I personally feel Capcom are far too scared to actually mess with the character in any radical manner. Because the last time they said, "Oh, okay, this needs adjusting," and the last time they made serious adjustments to him was going from season 1 into season 2, and they basically nerfed the character into the ground, even though he hadn't won anything outside of 2 ranking events. So, yeah. I understand Capcom are cautious as to how they work with this character, how they balance this character, but I feel like they've done a good job. They haven't given him anything too over the top. I would have loved the +2 standing heavy kick, but we can dream. The changes they've given us mean we can do more damage. We can respond to more situations in a manner that allows us to actually do damage. And we have a defensive option. How do I feel that defensive option will work? Like I said at the beginning, I don't feel like I can say just yet. It's, like I said, day 0, but I welcome defensive options. And I like the way they've implemented these shit. So I guess Jump Medium Punch has knockdown, no air reset. Nope, Jump Medium Punch. Jump Medium Punch has a blowback knockdown if you don't cancel it, yes. If you do Jump Medium Punch, cancel it to fly, you still get the juggle. That hasn't changed. That hasn't changed. Right. So, on that note, I've only slept 4 hours in the last 36. I want to fucking nap. I need... So... Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna post on Twitter. If you've got Twitter and you aren't following me, please follow me. It would be much appreciated. If you're on Instagram, I have a shit Instagram that I don't update, but I'm gonna start updating it soon. If you could follow me on YouTube, that would be sick. I'm probably gonna pop some excerpts from this breakdown onto YouTube. I'm gonna peace out now and try and sleep. Have a good evening, everyone.